Yo, what is going on YouTube? It is your boy GZTV back with another video, and in this video we are here to get into the 2026 movie Obsession. This is the first new theatrical release. I do believe this is the first time I've been to theaters this year, actually. The last time I went to theaters was to see The Conjuring Last Rites to kind of complete that thing. I do plan on going to the movie theaters more often, by the way, so I just want to put that out there, but this is going to be a really long video. This is a movie I'm quite passionate about, as a lot of people on the internet are, and this is going to be labeled as the most disturbing relationship horror movie in years. We are talking about one of the most emotionally disturbing, psychologically draining, uncomfortable, darkly hilarious, and honestly brilliant horror movies I've seen in years, and that is Obsession. And there's all sorts of different agendas going around. This might be the best horror film since Hereditary. I don't entirely hate that take, though we just got Weapons last year. The Substance was pretty good. There's been some really good horror movies. I do really like this modern age of horror, for sure. Directed by Curry Barker, a literal YouTuber turned filmmaker. Now, don't flame me in the comments because I don't know about his background too much, but this movie completely shocked me. Now, obviously, I went in with the expectations. It's the reason I'm making this video in the first place. I would normally not even go to a movie theater. I'm not really a big fan of going to movie theaters, but I'm not even glazing. Like, he came from YouTube and made this fucking movie. This is one of the coolest cinematic feats I've ever seen. It genuinely feels like one of the best horror films of the year. I mean, it's gotta be horror film of the year. It's gotta be one of the best films, period, of the year. It's not just, oh, this is good for a YouTuber. Oh, it's good for the budget. It's just a straight up good ass movie. This thing feels like a lot of kind of influences are worn on its sleeve. You get Ari Aster, emotional, fucked up, sick, deluded horror. You get a Black Mirror type of concept and a Black Mirror type of setup. You get James Wan, kind of psychological tension and lighting and cinematography, modern A24 style atmosphere. Like, if you told me this movie was picked up by A24, I wouldn't be surprised. And by the way, they got Backrooms coming out next week at some point, so I might have to go watch that too. Jesus. There's dark comedy, there's internet era, or all mashed together into one absolutely insane movie experience. And this was even better going to the theaters. Some people said this wasn't worth the theater experience. I say that, what the hell are you talking about? And this review is going to be full spoilers. I just got to put spoiler alert because it is very important to talk about what happened in this movie in order to get my point across. There's literally no way to discuss this without getting into the ending, all the insane shit that happens. So if you haven't seen Obsession yet, go ahead. Now is your chance to click off this video, go check it out for yourself, then come back because you need to. Let's go. So getting into the kind of premise, I will still try to keep like my normal kind of format here while also kind of straying away, but the setup of this movie honestly sounds corny on paper. Like, you would think it's like some Disney movie type shit, but Bear is this awkward dude who develops a crush on this girl Nikki, who is a co-worker of his. They work at like this music store, I believe it is, and one night he loses her necklace, so he goes to the store. He's looking to get her a necklace and finds this One Wish Willow. Turns out to be this supernatural weird fucking product that actually works. She becomes obsessively in love with him. He makes a wish. He says, I wish that this girl loves me more than anything in the world. He snaps it and shit goes down. And at first you're thinking on the surface it's a very twisted romance movie, but what the movie slowly and honestly violently turns into is one of the darkest relationship horror films I've seen in a long time. And I watched Companion. What makes it genius is the movie does not portray Bear as some cartoon villain from the jump. They don't portray him as a guy you're supposed to hate. That's important because if they just antagonize this guy and turn him into an evil incel psycho man, the movie would have absolutely no nuance whatsoever. Instead, he's a very relatable character at first, awkward, scared of rejection, trying to psych himself up to ask a girl out. We've all been through that, especially if you're a man like myself. And honestly, like, the beginning of the movie hit pretty hard for me because I remember in college, I've had personal experiences. I probably shouldn't say this because there's quite a digital footprint, but oh my god, I'm gonna confess it. I'm not ashamed anymore. I fucking graduated, okay? There was this girl working the desk at the gym I used to go to, and I swear I thought she was giving me signs she liked me, but I never made a move because fear of rejection's fucking real, right? Like, we all have these experiences. You go through your whole high school life and you have a girl. Some people have experienced this. I mean, not everybody, because some people have high school sweethearts, but like, you go through a whole high school phase and you don't have the nerve to ask someone out. And that's why the movie works. Everybody has had crushes before. Everybody has overthought signals before. Everybody has fantasized about what if. The difference is Bear gets consumed by the fantasy, doesn't know what he's wishing for, and that is where the horror begins. Getting into the good, we have to talk about the main character, even though he really isn't even the best character from the movie. Bear as a protagonist who quickly turns online into an antagonist based on the discourse. Bear is one of the most morally conflicting horror protagonist I've seen in a while, because the movie makes you understand him without excusing him for the actions he takes. Now, obviously, it is quite a dilemma because he gets himself into a situation where he makes this wish, does not think it's going to be real, then things start happening, and he takes the cowardly way out ultimately. But throughout, he does things where it's like, yeah, you're a fucking asshole. You asked for this. That balance is incredibly hard to pull off, though, and it is such a dope dynamic that you don't see in a lot of movies nowadays. At first, he honestly doesn't even seem entitled. Like, he doesn't seem entitled to this girl. It feels like a very genuine workplace crush. Again, we've all had those as well. That's why I think a lot of the internet, like, talk around this movie simplifies it a little too much, and I am here to kind of break it down into a more full-length video. Now, I'm not going to do like an ending explain. I'm not going to break it down bit by bit, scene by scene, because I think that's goofy. This is more of just a review. This is more of just my thoughts, but people are throwing around many terms for this thing. Incel horror, male entitlement horror, parasocial horror, and sure, those elements certainly exist, but the movie is doing way more than just that. It is way more than just dumbing it down to a single subgenre or trying to like tell a single thing. The wish itself almost feels impulsive superstition, like a joke. You break a wishbone with like your sister or something and you wish for something. You throw a coin in a wishing well. Any type of outlet, any type of medium, any type of way that people have made a wish, it feels like that. It's a product that people make. Oh, make a wish. It's nice and cute. Wouldn't it be crazy if this actually worked? Haha. And then when it does work, this is like the horror of it. This is just like alternate universe where wishes get granted, like a fucking genie. The movie slowly becomes horrifying because Bear realizes he didn't even earn the love that he is receiving. He manufactured dependency. That is such a dark thing to talk about. And if you're not like mature enough, you probably wouldn't understand how dark that concept is. But the relationship becomes emotionally hollow almost immediately, and the movie starts forcing you to ask, what even is love if there's no free will involved? If she's just forced into this obsession, was it all worth it? Obviously not. You saw the end result. That's absolutely terrifying, and by the end, the guilt completely consumes him, and you see the character meet his fate. Now, we will get more in depth with the ending here in a second. Wow, I mean, the overdose, honestly, it felt quite inevitable to me. I do think, spoilers, holy shit, if you're still watching, what the fuck are you doing? The overdose felt inevitable. Like, it was somewhat predictable. Like, I will say the ending was somewhat predictable. Him killing himself, either by shooting himself, he couldn't bring himself to the strength of doing that. The second he realized there was absolutely no fixing this situation, I mean, he just broke in half. He's a very fragile, pussy-ass incel, a lot of people like to say. But that was his fate. He met his fate, and I don't think that movie could have ended any other way. But getting into the even more tragic character, and the character where you show the most sympathy towards in this story, is Inda Navarrette's Academy Award nomination worthy performance as Nikki.
I'm your freaky Nikki.
We gotta talk about her. Holy shit. This is one of the best acting jobs I've seen in a horror movie in so fucking long. It is so hard to get this good of a performance in these type of movies, in these like A24, Ari Aster type of movie. The performance is just absolutely unbelievable. I mean, genuinely one of the best horror performances I've seen in years, damn near ever. And if horror movies actually got respect at award shows, she should absolutely be getting nominations. If this happens, I think we could see a common trend happening. Future horror films, it's not just a sex thing of like females doing it. It's like everyone could be this committed to a role. We saw last year the girl that played Aunt Gladys in Weapons, she took away an Academy Award. We need to keep this fucking train going, and Inda Navarrette, however you say her name, absolutely does it. The way she slowly, honestly kind of abruptly at times, it is such a weird pace of a movie, and she is such a weird character to follow throughout the movie, transforms after the wish takes effect. It's absolutely fucking terrifying. The fact that your life can change in an instant and there's nothing you can do. You snap out for moments in mass hysteria. You don't know what the fuck to do. What makes it disturbing is she still feels human. She's still a human being. Like, she remembers things that happened the day before. She's still learning things about him. They're kind of beginning their companionship. She knows things about him. She adapts to situations. She responds emotionally. I mean, obviously she does feel like a robot because all of a sudden, even all the characters around her, even all of the co-workers notice, okay, this is not fucking right. This girl never liked you. She talked to you like you were a friend, like you were a brother, and now she's just head over heels toxically in love with you. It almost feels like the real Nikki is trapped underneath all the obsessive behavior, which she is, and that is what Curry Barker's trying to show here. And the emotional switching she does throughout the movie is insane. This is one of the best portrayals I've ever seen, as fucked up as it sounds, of bipolar disorder. Oh my god, I've never seen such mood swings acted this well in a movie damn near ever. The loving, the confused, the hysterical, the vulnerable angles she takes, terrifying, emotionally broken, not knowing what to think, her anger, her jealousy. Sometimes within seconds, it's just like, boom. Oh, I fucking hate you. Oh, oh, I'm fine now. You know what I mean? Like, it is such a crazy fucking ride, and she is such an entertaining character in the most twisted way possible to watch throughout this movie. This is one of those, like, the voice effects she makes, like, her voice acting is fucking amazing. The body language she shows, just her mannerisms, the emotional instability of this character. This is one of those horror performances where somebody completely commits physically and emotionally. By the end, when she snaps out of it, that was honestly one of the most emotionally devastating horror scenes I've seen in forever. The way she was, like, what the fuck? And then she just starts crying, and that carries you out into the movie. Not because of gore. Like, the movie's not devastating because of gore, not because of violence, but because of just pure emotional confusion and just thrown into a super traumatic situation. Watching her realize what happened while the credits roll, holy fuck. Like, that is nightmare fuel. That is so fucked up. And getting into the horror itself, getting into kind of the atmosphere of the movie, the horror in this movie is incredible. I think it mixes so many different styles: psychological, emotional, relationships, disturbing, thrillers, ritualistic horror, all these different types of subgenres of horror. You even get dark comedy, you even get some like satirical shit in here, body horror. I mean, at times this thing reminds you of so many like amazing modern day classic horror movies that have come out. Talk about Hereditary, talk about Barbarian, Get Out, James Wan movies, modern A24 movies, Midsummer, even Black Mirror episodes. It just reminds you of so many of those things. And if you look up a list of like some of the best modern day horrors, this movie took inspiration from damn near all of them, and somehow it still feels like its own movie. The lighting and tension especially were amazing. There are scenes where Nikki's kind of just standing in the darkness, and you even see in the movie poster like her silhouette standing there. It's genuinely unsettling. It is so fucking creepy. This is such a creepy fucking movie. And Sarah's death, how abrupt that was, even though it was kind of expected, it was absolutely brutal. It's not a super graphic movie. They don't do super well with gore, and you can tell it's a low budget in that aspect because of how casually horrifying everything just happened. You don't casually break a glass, stab it in your head with no emotion on your face. That's fucking crazy. The movie really understands emotional discomfort more than cheap jump scares, and honestly, I think that's what sticks with you. And again, like I said, with the kind of dark comedy, getting into that angle, what's crazy is the movie is fucking funny. Not comedy movie funny, but it's just nervous, uncomfortable. Should I be laughing at this type of laughter? That is kind of what is presented to us. Laughing because of how absurdly disturbing everything becomes. Somebody in my theater laughed during the end when Nikki snapped out of it, and yeah, in my head I'm kind of laughing because her mannerisms are silly, but it's just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, someone literally laughed at her wailing. Like, when she realized what was happening, I was like, dude, are you fucking serious? But at the same time, you kind of get it, and that's kind of an attest to what this movie is trying to do. The movie has this really eerie, satirical energy underneath everything, and I get satire from my dad because he kind of pointed that out. This movie is kind of satirical. Lines like, what's the verdict, cat? Somehow horrifying and quotable at the same time. That balance is so difficult to pull off. And just getting into the directing itself, I have to give full credit to Curry Barker. He is so fucking amazing here. Massive respect, because this movie absolutely proves he is a legit filmmaker. It is films like this that are going to have me on the edge of my seat for whatever he brings us in the future. It's not DIY, it's not amateur, it's not influencer garbage like what YouTubers do in a rap and make shitty fucking songs. This is a guy that is a student of the fucking game. The fact this movie reportedly had a budget under $1 million too is absolutely insane, considering how cinematic it feels visually and emotionally. And this guy was obviously like a visual effects artist, I think. Like, he kind of studied that. That was kind of what some of his videos were about as well. But this guy has horror pacing, tension, visual storytelling, emotional horror, and atmosphere of a horror film, and it's so uniquely his own. It's down to the fucking T. This is so good, and honestly, it is inspiring for creators like myself. Now, I obviously don't have any plans of making a movie, although it would be really fucking cool. It's inspiring to think that you can transcend yourself, transcend your craft, and like what you care about into something like that. Because this wasn't, look, a YouTuber made a movie. This was a filmmaker happened to come from YouTube. I think there's a big difference there, and man, it is so good. So obviously, in comparison, I think the bad and the okay are going to be shorter, but getting into the bad, honestly, I don't have a ton of negatives. There's really not a lot lot of things about this movie that you could say bad. Maybe part of this is kind of my acknowledgments, but there are definitely things that will divide people. First, the movie is emotionally exhausting. If you're an emotionally sensitive, if you've gone through traumatic experiences, if you've gone through traumatic relationships that end in bad things happening, if you've gone through drug abuse, if you've gone through obsessive partners, clingy people all around you, if you've gone through any of that, this movie's going to take a toll on you. And I claim myself as a person that has been pretty devoid of hardships a lot of my life. Like, I've been pretty fortunate to kind of grow up where I've been, with the family I've been. So seeing movies like this, it's kind of like, okay, they're going through it. I'm not going to personally get emotional for them. That doesn't change the fact that it is a fucked up movie, but like, I would understand, like, and if you go through drug abuse, if you go through alcoholism, if you go through all of these fucking things, these conflicting feelings and like problems with your father, even grief, like losing animals. An animal fucking died in this movie from eating too many pills. If you're sensitive to that sort of thing, it's not a casually like fun horror movie whatsoever. It's not like a slasher where a couple people kind of get knifed real quick and it's over. No, this thing is fucking deliberating. Some people are absolutely gonna think this movie is trying too hard to be disturbing or edgy, like whatever. Like, yeah, it is super experimental and people have that whole thing. Why? And it's just so random. I understand that. Like, I understand how a lot of people would say about a lot of modern horror films that they're just so balls to the wall. The wish mechanics and some of the ending implications are also intentionally vague, which can definitely confuse viewers. The ending implications, like, what did she wish for, I guess is what I was going to say. There are some things that are kind of up for interpretation, and that can be seen as a good or bad thing from critics alike, you know? Again, what did she wish for in the end when she broke the thing? Did she wish that he, like, shared the same obsession that she did with him? Like, the fact she even got a hand on the wish is fucking crazy. And the tonal shifts might also feel messy to some people because the movie bounces back and forth between a lot of things, and this again kind of goes back to the performance from Navarrette, where she plays the super kind of bipolar, like, snap out of it, snap back into this curse that is this one wish willow. I wish I could buy one of those online, by the way. That's so fucking cool. That's such a cool, like, set piece for a horror movie. Her bipolarness, like, it's horror, it's romance, it's satire, it's thriller, it's dark comedy, and again, the way she portrays that character allows all that to kind of break through. And if you're expecting straightforward psychological horror, you may not vibe with that. There are also scenes that are so uncomfortable that they almost become difficult to sit through. I've been pretty, like, numb. I've been pretty desensitized to a lot of this nasty shit with the whole Twitter age of people dying on fucking video and people posting it on my timeline. But, like, they're not graphic necessarily. They're emotionally brutal. This is an emotionally brutal movie. It just kind of boils back down to that. So that's kind of what I got. Getting into the okay, I guess I kind of already talked about this, but like the wish concept itself honestly sounds kind of corny on paper. And I actually went into this movie blind. I had no idea what the fuck the setup was. I didn't know what they were trying to go for, and I'm glad I did. But when the movie started and it was like, be careful what you wish for, like the one wish willow, and I did see like the popcorn bins, the tens, that's what they call it on the AMC website. So I kind of knew what this was about, but like, it's almost a Disney Channel level setup, but the movie twists it into something incredibly cynical and disturbing. It takes something so fucking simple and puts every single possible implication of it into not joyride, but an absolute thrill ride, an absolute nightmare of a fucking movie. The pacing early on is also intentionally slow and uneasy while it builds tension. This is something I will say that I definitely noticed with watching this movie. It has a slow start. It does take a while. It takes damn near a fucking hour for things to really get fucked up. And the breaking point is kind of when she was at the party and she started like hitting herself with the glass. That was like, okay, this bitch is fucking crazy. This wish has taken full-fledged. Because at the beginning of the movie it was like, oh, she would stand in the same spot and wait for him after work, and she'd shit and piss on the floor because she wasn't moving, or she would tape the door shut, or she would constantly be glaring at him at work, like that sort of thing. But once physically bad things, physically damaging things started to happen to her, it's like, oh fuck, this is not going to end well. Some people may think, where is this going in the first hour? But one thing spiral, they fucking spiral hard. The movie also very clearly wears its influences. I mean, we talked about them before, but honestly, I didn't really care. I think the execution of this movie is so strong that I set that aside. So getting into the review, kind of my final thoughts. Obsession is disturbing, emotionally draining, psychologically terrifying, weirdly funny, visually impressive, incredibly acted, and genuinely memorable. This is not some cheap stock value horror movie. This is one of the best horror movies I have probably ever seen, at least in the 21st century. This is a movie about many things. Fantasy versus reality, the titular obsession, dependency, loneliness, validation, manipulation, artificial love fabricated out of a wish. And honestly, it's one of the most fascinating relationship horror films I've ever seen. I already want to rewatch it, and I can't wait until it gets thrown on streaming, because I know there are details and themes I've missed from this one. And that is an attribute of a really good horror movie. Anything where you can go back and rewatch and be like, hey, I missed that, you know? Honestly, that's usually the sign, you know? This thing is absolutely going to divide people. Some people are going to hate it. Some people are going to think it's too much. Some people are going to completely misunderstand and miss the point of the movie entirely. But me personally, I think this is one of the defining horror movies damn near of the decade, damn near of the last 2 decades. Because horror kind of hit a standstill once some of like the James Wan Conjuring franchises were out. But it's an absolutely incredible horror experience. One of the best films ever made by a creator that came from YouTube. Probably the best. And honestly, it's a defining Gen Z horror film. I am giving this a 9.3 out of 10. I am so high on this movie. I know I'm buying into the hype. I know I'm kind of glazing it, and I looked online and people confirmed how good this movie was, but I don't care. This is very similar to like a Marty Supreme type of situation when we watched that. So with that being said, leave a like, comment, subscribe. As always, this has been your boy GZTV giving you guys these videos. I don't know how long it's going to take me to make this. I will try to make it as long of a video as possible though, just because a guy like Curry Barker and this cinematic feat fully deserves it, man. I am out. Peace. Go check out the socials if I haven't said that already.